The Green New Deal is so horrendous that it kind of makes me wonder, is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez evil or just plain retarded? The Green New Deal calls for economically destructive and environmentally toxic extremist policies that would be an absolute disaster for our country and the American people. The radical and impractical plan would suck trillions of dollars out of our economy, drastically increase the cost of living, wipe out millions of jobs, and plunge our country into a depression. I'm already depressed just thinking about this, my boys. The bill, introduced by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, calls climate change a direct threat to the national security of the United States. The resolution calls for the United States to achieve net zero greenhouse gas emissions through a fair and just transition for all communities and workers, when in reality the proposal itself is a direct threat to national and economic security, along with creeping socialism from the radical left. The resolution demands the elimination of virtually all fossil fuels from U.S. electricity generation within 10 years. That would destroy at least 3.4 million jobs in the oil, natural gas, and coal industries. The radical plan will replace fossil fuels by building hundreds or even thousands of costly new renewable energy facilities across the country. It also calls for building high-speed rail and eliminating as many gasoline-powered vehicles as technologically feasible. This would hit American families and businesses hard in their wallets, not just due to increased taxes, but also because of dramatically higher prices for many everyday items. Renewable energy sources like wind and solar power are 2 to 5 times more expensive than existing conventional energy sources like natural gas, forcing Americans to ditch their perfectly good gasoline-powered vehicles and pay far more than they do now to provide power to the vehicles, and homes could cost families billions of dollars each year, harming low-income families the most. Astronomical power costs for businesses would create tremendous incentives to relocate to other nations. This will be particularly true of factories, which require large amounts of power to manufacture all sorts of products. The Green New Deal would mandate the removal of pollution and greenhouse gas emissions from every manufacturer and industry. This provision alone would have absolutely devastating economic effects. If manufacturers in all industries are forced to go green, the cost of producing products in the United States would increase so drastically that it would be basically impossible for American companies to beat their global competitors. Manufacturers staying in the U.S. would try to cut costs in other ways, thus holding down wages and replacing humans with machines. Beep boop, the great overlord AOC is amazing. Nah, my boys, nah. Under President Trump, U.S. manufacturing is making a tremendous comeback after decades of decline. More than 450,000 manufacturing jobs have been added across our nation under the Trump administration. And this is coming from data of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So try to dispute that, okay? The manufacturing renaissance could have never happened if the Green Deal was in place. And these job gains will be absolutely reversed if the job-killing plan ever came to fruition. Current sources of green energy are also significantly more unreliable than fossil fuels. Because guess what, folks? The wind isn't always blowing and the sun ain't always shining. Electric power brownouts and blackouts would likely become very common if the American people were forced to depend on these green energy sources. It also may come to a surprise to many, but some forms of renewable energy can, in fact, actually cause more environmental problems than solve. Solar facilities and wind farms take up far more land than most existing conventional energy facilities. For example, solar energy requires 40 to 50% more than natural gas facilities. Wind energy production takes up to 90 to 100% more land. That's a significant difference. Additionally, in order to build the thousands of new wind turbines and solar panels that will be needed to power the country, substantially more steel and rare earth minerals will be needed to be manufactured and mined, causing massive environmental damage. And where would the government build all of these new wind and solar facilities? Because even many of the most liberal and supposedly environmentally friendly communities in the country have rejected new wind farms because they don't want the land around their homes filled with turbines. The Green New Deal would also have the federal government work collaboratively with farmers and ranchers in the United States to eliminate pollution and greenhouse gas emissions from the agriculture sector. The Green New Deal would do this in part by mandating sustainable farming and land use practices, giving unprecedented power to the federal government to manage U.S. farms and ranches, immensely increasing the cost of producing the food we eat. And guess what? When it costs farmers more to grow food, it costs you and me more to buy food. So under a Green New Deal, we could expect dramatically higher prices at the supermarket checkout line. Another disturbing provision of the Green New Deal would require upgrading all existing buildings in the United States and building new buildings to achieve maximum energy efficiency, water efficiency, safety, affordability, comfort, durability, all that, costing trillions of more dollars. Trillions of extra dollars. Not only would these policies kill jobs, hurt families, and insert the government in everybody's home and business, they would provide few, if any, actual environmental benefits and would do nothing to avert climate change. But wasn't that the whole point, though? I mean, even if you believe that humans are causing climate change or global warming or whatever it is this week or this month, even if you believe they're causing significant problems, claims that not all scientists accept, the Green New Deal would not do anything to reduce global carbon dioxide emissions because countries like China and India continue to increase their carbon dioxide emissions by so much that they will, based on current projections, more than offset any carbon dioxide emission cuts made in the US. And yet, this is just the tip of the economically disastrous iceberg. The resolution also includes dozens of socialist policies that have little or nothing to do with the environment, including some that were not even included in Ocasio-Cortez's initial draft proposal released last year. For example, the Green New Deal resolution will provide resources, training, high-quality education, including higher education to all people of the United States, with a focus on frontline and vulnerable communities. In other words, implementing the Green New Deal will likely include a universal free college provision that could cost trillions upon trillions of dollars over the next couple of decades. The Green New Deal also promises universal access to healthy food, economic security for all Americans, universal health care, and a jobs guarantee that will provide employment to anyone who wants it. Although in one of her documents, it says that it would give money to anybody unwilling to work. That's disgraceful. And it also says that it will include a family-sustaining wage, adequate family and medical leave, paid vacations, and retirement security will all be. Funding these massive government giveaways will require drastic tax increases, and not just on the wealthiest Americans. Ignoring the obvious economic implications, not even heavy taxes for the wealthy would be enough. Soaring federal deficits are inevitable under the Green New Deal. And if all of that wasn't bad enough already, if it wasn't already the plan of an absolute mad lad, the plan even calls for the absolute elimination of cows. Well, cows that pass gas to be exact, because I guess they're cows that don't pass gas? Moo? My cows. My cows! Moo! Cheeseburgers. Tacos. Spaghetti. Spaghetti!
Somebody touch my spaghetti!
And guess what else? The bill wants to completely eliminate air travel. And I don't know about you, my boys, but I got flights to catch. The bottom line is that the Green New Deal would transform tremendous sectors of the U.S. economy, energy, healthcare, college education, and potentially more, into huge socialist, government-run or managed programs that would be controlled by an army of bureaucrats in Washington. A true government takeover. Maybe we need to start calling AOC Che Guevara, because I'm sure Che Guevara is one of her heroes. And all this would be done in the name of trying to control the weather. 80 years in the future. I mean, this isn't just socialism, which has already ended in devastation throughout history. It's just plain crazy. If the world's supposed to end in 12 years like AOC said, then why is she even worried about attaining your plan? It doesn't make any sense. So once again, we have to ask, is AOC evil or just plain retarded? I'm sorry, it had to be said. Patriot 1, out.